My name is Matson, and this is my interpersonal communication project for HSER 508 with Professor Glenna Dunn. Next slide. I am one of a kind, extremely unique from anyone else. This presentation will discuss what makes me so special, how I communicate with others, what my overarching goal in communication is, and what will help me pursue that goal. Next slide. Everyone has a unique behavioral blend. Carbonell describes 4 different temperaments that make up a person's behavioral blend. The D stands for active and task-oriented. This person is usually directing, driving, demanding. The I stands for active and people-oriented. This person is usually inspiring, influencing, and inducing. The S stands for passive and people-oriented. These people are usually steady, stable, or shy. The C stands for passive and task-oriented. These people are usually cautious, competent, and calculating. Next slide. My unique behavioral blend on the This Is Me side is an I and C. I am active and passive and inspiring. I am people and task-oriented. I'm often cautious, calculating, and careful. Sometimes I may talk too much. On the This Is Expected of Me side, I am a D, I, and S. I am directing, inspiring, and serving, demanding, influencing, and supporting. I am great with people. Sometimes I may cause others or myself unnecessary stress. On both sides of my behavioral blend, I am inspiring and great with people. Next slide. My background has definitely influenced who I am as a person and how I communicate today. My parents have been the biggest influence on my communication and my life. My dad was the analytical and wise one. He always knew exactly what to say and when to say it. Even though he passed away in 2009, his wisdom will forever live on in my life. My mom is the compassionate and caring one. Both of my parents always listened to what I had to say, and they only gave me advice when I asked for it. It really helped me grow to be the person that I am. They respected each other and modeled what good communication was supposed to look like. Dr. Elton Mayo stated, "One friend, one person who is truly understanding, who takes the trouble to listen to us as we consider our problem, can change our whole outlook on the world." My parents definitely changed my whole outlook on the world for the better. Next slide. My background influences my interpersonal communication. On the positive side, my parents really taught me to be hardworking, extremely dedicated. I have an extreme love for people, and I have a strong faith in God. On the negative side, I have a one-way tunnel brain, which I inherited from my father. What this means is sometimes I focus on one thing and I can't get my mind off of it. This runs into a problem in communicating because when the other person is talking, I'll think of something that it reminds me of in my head, and then I can't stop thinking about it. And the problem with that is I'm not focusing on anything the other person is saying during this time. I often put too much on my plate. I'm definitely an overachiever. I strive for perfectionism, and like I said before, I tend to talk more than I listen. Next slide. My overarching goal in communication is to communicate regularly on a level 2 basis instead of on a level 1. Level 1 is just basic giving and receiving of information. It's like asking a stranger where the nearest ATM is, or asking your mom what's for dinner. On level 2, it's deeper than words. It develops intimacy, trust, more personal sharing, and builds relationships. That's the type of communicating I want to have with everybody I come in contact with, because then I may be able to change some lives for the kingdom of God. I'm reminded of James 1:19, which states, "Everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak." Next slide. To accomplish my goal and enlarge the conversation, I'm going to improve my listening skills, which need quite a bit of work. I'm going to have more fierce conversations. I'm going to eliminate the noise, which is my biggest barrier, and I'm going to continue to focus on my goal and allow my supporters to hold me accountable. Next slide. To improve my listening skills, I'm going to utilize the talker-listener card that Peterson provides. The listener side states, I'm calm enough to hear, I don't own the problem, and the goals are to provide safety, to understand, and to clarify, without agreeing, advising, disagreeing, or defending, which that's the part that I struggle with the most. When someone is talking to me, I always assume that it's because they need help solving a problem. So I will immediately try to fix the problem, and that's not always the case. Stephen Covey said, try first to understand and then to be understood. I need to learn to keep my mouth shut and wait till the other person finishes saying what he needs to say before I say it. Andre Melrose states, man learns to speak 3 years and a lifetime to hear, which is definitely what I'm learning. According to Hemrick, contemplation, learning, and listening are complementary. Each needs the other to be successful. Good listening, learning, and contemplation require absorption and the internalization of what is said. Next slide. I need to have more fierce conversations. Fierce conversations are strong, robust, and passionate. Conversation is the relationship. A fierce conversation is one in which we come out from behind ourselves into the conversation and make it real and authentic. Having fierce conversations, they leave you feeling accomplished and good about yourself, and the other person involved in the conversation feels listened to, and they feel good about themselves too. Next slide. Noise pollution is my barrier. I create noise for myself most of the time. I'm constantly thinking of what I'm going to say next in a conversation, which makes me not focus on the other person. I'm continually talking or interrupting the other person when they're speaking, or I'm trying to immediately solve the problem. If not out loud, then sometimes in my head. To overcome this barrier, I'm going to keep an open mind, focus my attention on the speaker, take notes because that will help me really focus on what the speaker is saying, and I need to resist distractions, both in my head and around us. Next slide, please. These 3 people hold me accountable and provide me with godly advice. These are the 3 people I'm going to practice my newfound listening skills with because I care about them all a great deal. My mom is pictured on the left, my fiance Chris is pictured on the bottom left, and my good friend Leah is pictured on the bottom right. Next slide. In conclusion, by having more level 2 conversations, I will have a greater impact on the people that I communicate with. I will do this by improving my listening skills and eliminating the noise barriers. I will be able to enlarge the conversation more effectively by doing this. I will also be a more helpful counselor and a more fruitful woman of God because I will be listening wholeheartedly and truly caring about the person who is speaking instead of interrupting them or doing all of the other negative barriers that I have been doing in the past. Susan Scott points out that while no single conversation is guaranteed to change the trajectory of a business, career, marriage, or life, any single conversation can. Having that mindset that one conversation could change the life of someone else is really going to be the focus of me changing my interpersonal communication skills. Thank you.